But Dad, isn't it time for illegal ham in the face? But bro, where's the banjo?
Some Cleveland sports shows try to give you hot takes, but only one can give you a big old piece of hot ham. Welcome to Illegal Ham to the Face. Talking all Cleveland sports. And don't forget our Fat Boy Tuesday, where we also ham it up with some fun food topics. Without further ado, let's serve up some ham. Here are the Ham Boys. Fatty, Big Bri, and my cousin Vinny.
What's going on, everybody? I am that fat guy, Jared Fatty Bates, and I am doing solo right now until I get Big Brian here with me. But welcome into Illegal Ham to the Face. I want to thank everybody for watching. Also, guess what, guys? We are now live on Twitch. So our Twitch channel is up and going. So if you guys are catching us there, please like and subscribe to that. But as for today, we are going to get into here a little bit later today. We're going to get into the Browns news with them signing Josh Rosen, a little bit of Deshaun news, which we're still waiting on something to happen. We're going to get into the Madden ratings that the Browns had and some other things. And then we are going to finally get into our Fat Boy Tuesday. Well, we have another sports topic if we get to it, but then we're going to get into our Fat Boy Tuesday, which is what food is better cooked at home than at a restaurant. And then we are finally going to finish it up with our top 3 sports TV shows. So if you guys got any shows here later on, chime them in here when we get ready to do our top 3 at the end. But our show is always brought to you by Harold Keel and the Lake Erie APA Pool League. If you guys want to join a pool league and have a great time, please join us at Lake Erie APA. Get a hold of us here at Illegal Ham to the Face at illegalhamtotheface@gmail.com, or get a hold of Harold Keel or Lake Erie APA on Facebook, and we will get everybody set up. Harold is paying for membership fees for new players coming in, at least a few of you. And he's also, if you need a team, we will find you a team to play on. So if you guys want to come play, have a good time, we will get there. And let's see, food cooked at home, pasta, meatballs. Well, there it is. Hype Man Paul, he's here. So he's got a Twitch too at Hype Man Paulie. So if you guys want to go check out him, please do. But other than that, we have a great show here later on. I'll get Brian here in about. He's running late from work, so I should get him here in about 10 minutes. But everybody that's in the comments and everything, we kind of threw out, is everybody kind of tired of waiting for this Deshaun Watson news to finally drop? I mean, I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen. I mean, people predict, and, we've tried to do it on here too. Nobody really knows. But, we're going to get into some shout outs here real quick. I got to shout out my baby sister who is going, through the healing process and doing good. Got a congratulations shout out today for my niece, Allie, is preggers with a new baby on the way. She's 8 weeks now. I keep praying that it's twins or triplets or quadruplets, just because I'm pretty sure I had twins because of her. And then got to shout out the man, Ken Carman. If you guys did not watch last episode, we had Ken Carman from 92.3 The Fan and the Cleveland Browns Radio Network and Fox 8 Sports and the emerging podcast scene. And he's just everywhere. Friday Night Light, Touchdown. He's just everywhere. He was absolutely amazing for us. He's just one of a kind. And for him, we were thinking that we were only going to get 30 minutes of his time, maybe 20 minutes. For him to stay on our show for over an hour and talk some of the nonsense that we talked about, I couldn't thank him enough. And, he got back in the studio today. I sent well wishes and prayers and everything else because his wife was sick. But, I couldn't thank him enough for what happened when he came on. We had so much fun. And Hype Man Paul is shouting out all of us here to Legal Ham to the Face. And Justin, I know it was kind of a little snag foo right at the last second. That's why I kind of pushed it to 6:15. But it's okay. I know you would hop on. I appreciate it. But do you guys let's see here. We got 6 people watching. Can I get a thumbs up in the comments if we want to go over the snub of the Madden ratings for your Cleveland Browns team? Because your team did not do very well overall. Let me bring up over here. I got it on my phone. Give me 1 second. Let's see here. Top 10 teams in Madden. Right now, number 1 is Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 92 overall, followed by the Bills at 89, the Rams at 88, Packers 88, Ravens at 87, Chargers at 87, Cowboys at 86, Chiefs at 86, 49ers at 86, and the Eagles/Bengals at 85. I think they have your Browns at around 83 or 84, right in behind there. But for them not to be in the top 10, especially with this defense, and they got their defense ranked so low. It's unreal how low they got this defense ranked. It's ranked at 80. But, Bride's wanting to do this because we both played Madden. We both talk crap to each other. And, we've actually played each other a few times. And then somebody gets upset and throws a remote, and then we can't play anymore. But, that's what happens when you get friends that play competitively. And something, that was the thing. Okay, Justin, we're going to get into this. Okay. And I'm going to get into this because I'm an Ohio State fan. I'm allowed to. Everybody says that Brady is 3-0 on the years that J-Lo gets married. Okay, that first one, I believe, was 1997 Michigan team. Now, I threw it out there because the people in ESPN 850 that brought it up, I threw it out there. They were co-champs that year. Co-champs with Nebraska. So I don't think it counts him winning a, championship again this year because it was co-champ. So he's only 2-0 on those. And oh boy, did Julio sign with Tampa Bay today? Of course he did. I bet you it's for like $3 million and some change. Thank you, Chris, for showing that to me. I didn't see that happen. Way to go, Browns. You dropped the ball on that one. But the other questions that have been brought up with Cleveland over the days is we've had USA Today chime in with their 2 cents saying that the Browns record this year is 6-11. If that's the Browns record this year, I'm guessing that's without Deshaun Watson for the whole year. I can't see them losing more than 8 this year, even with, Jacoby being the backup coming in. I think it'll be fine. And yes, Chris, I will see you Sunday, bro. I love you. But, with Jacoby and everybody else, we signed Rosen, bringing all this stuff up. And it's just like, you watch it, you see it, and it's like, how can they be 6-11? Somebody put them there. And, the only reason I can think is if Deshaun's out for a whole year. And I don't think that will be it. But, well, and yes, I know you say everybody says 6 wins. I don't understand why. The team talent's there. The offense is still there. You had a pretty much crippled quarterback, and they won 8 games last year. I mean, if you get somebody that's just adequate, they should at least win 9 to 10 games, you'd think, right? I mean, this is a lot easier when somebody else is talking too, because the throat gets parched. But, with this team and the way it's set and the way it's designed, it's got to do better. They brought up today, one of the questions that was brought up today is, is this on Stefanski if they go 6-11 or whatever the hell it is? And I'm like, you can't, it's either Stefanski or the front office. And I would blame the front office because they knew this is what was going to happen. You can't really blame Stefanski for not having his number 1 overall quarterback. And, I want to see Watson on the field. Hasn't played in how long? It's almost been 2 years since he's played. So did he play in preseason last year with Houston that I'm kind of missing? I think he might have. But, we'll see him for preseason, then we'll figure out what's going on with his suspension. Everybody kind of thought some kind of news was going down today. I mean, everybody's still checking their phones, and I've been doing it all day too to see if there's anything that's dropped, and nothing has yet. I mean, we haven't even got a glimmer of hope of what's going on. And you got all these other people, when he's in camp, he's looking great. We're doing great. Blah, blah, blah. It just sucks right now as Browns fans because we are right on the fence of, well, is this going to be a good season, or do we just mail it in and just pray to God we limp into the playoffs or something of that nature as Browns fans? Because you can't predict this team to go to the playoffs without Deshaun, and also you can't really predict it going with Deshaun because he hasn't played in 2 years, just like Justin said here. We haven't seen him. Now, granted, we had Ken on last week that said, seeing people in person, lets like, for all these years we thought we had a good quarterback, and then you actually see a good quarterback, you're like, whoa, what was I looking at? From what everybody's saying, he looks amazing, but looks are looks. I mean, we got to see him on the field at some point in time. And I understand that this is a very delicate matter that's going on with the NFL, with Sue Robinson, with the Browns, with everything else. It is a uncomfortable decision that's about to be made. And it's not the fact that he was guilty or he's not guilty and all this other stuff. Yes, there's accusations. Something happened. We don't know. We aren't there. We're just speculating as we speculate all the time. But you sit there and you watch it, and it's like you can't look at it the same way that other people look at it. Like most people, like, Bri brought it up to me, I'm looking at it as a common man of, well, I would be fired. I can't look at it that way because that's not the way the NFL plays. You figured somebody would stand up, but when you've got billions of dollars on the line, nobody's going to say anything, and it's just going to be what it is. And that's fine. I get that. I'm still not going to root for my Browns though, because I've been rooting for the Browns since they sucked right at the beginning, especially in my fandom of 1999. Like, I haven't seen a great Browns team. I've seen good ones. I've seen ones make it to the playoffs, but most of us Browns fans for the past 27 year, whatever it is now, we've been seeing a shit show. All we want to do is see something good. And we got a glimmer of hope. It was like a little star twinkling out there. We had a Baker Mayfield. We had a really good team. We went to the playoffs. We beat Pittsburgh. We're just not there yet. We're on the plateau. We need to take 2 more steps up. And yes, it's what have you done for me lately, league? Yes, and I get that, especially after seeing videos of Antonio Brown, and then while hearing Chris Carson retired today. That's another big one that hit. Only 27 years old and retiring because of a neck injury. You got everything going on, and Brad's sharing a treat with me. Oh, training camp stuff tonight at 7. Well, as soon as we're done here, go check out Brad Ward at All Eyes on Cleveland. I guess he's doing training camp previews tonight, which he's actually really good at what he does. I love Brad like you wouldn't believe. Brad and I butt heads on a lot of things, and I just laugh at it because I don't take it serious because everybody has their opinions. I'm not going to bash somebody for their opinion, and I hope somebody doesn't bash me for my opinion. You can make fun of me all you want to. I don't care. That's how I believe. That's why we created this show, Illegal Ham, so we could have some fun and actually just kind of vent being fans of Cleveland. So we could talk about the things that most people don't talk about when you're in Cleveland. Like, the stuff behind the scenes that people don't know about training camp and what goes on there, or Guardians baseball and who's hurt, who's not hurt. Like, we had the MVP All-Star of the Guardians, and, Jose's still killing it, but we still got Framil, the trade deadline's coming up. We got so much stuff going on in here in Cleveland with Indians, with Cavs, and their supposed bad deal towards Colin Sexton. Yes, Colin Sexton, it looks like a bad deal. I don't get me wrong. I know it does. But, for this city and the way it's going, we do revolve around our Browns. And combat basketball. Yes, you could definitely make fun of my skills at laying beer combat basketball. because Justin, you kicked my ass multiple times in that game. Thank you for bringing that one up. But this city goes with this Cleveland Browns team. And right now, and I put out this on Twitter yesterday, it's been 127 days of not knowing if our quarterback one, Deshaun Watson, is going to take a snap for the Cleveland Browns this year. We don't know. And it's hard, so hard because we don't know. Because you're sitting there, you see the light at the end of the tunnel. You see how good this team can be. And you just can't get there. Justin, I don't want to talk about it with the scrubs. We're not talking. That was your game. You cheated on that game, by the way. I'm just going to throw that out there. How about that? And by the way, if you want to see Justin's YouTube channel, I suggest you do, because he reads children's books, and they are very, very good children's books that have an adult theme that they shouldn't have. I think the last one he read was Spanky the Monkey lends a helping hand or something of that nature. And you just got to read them, because I'm telling you what, they are something like Justin Jocelyn watches you now. So I'm just letting you know, because I told her to look you up and start watching the videos. She's watching now. She peed her pants. So you got to keep finding these gems that you find, because they're absolutely amazing. When Bri gets on here, we will do our trivia. We will go through the show. This is kind of like a little Fatty's on fire kind of thing we're doing right now, because I'm kind of drawing out time till I see his big old melon pop in down below. But, with this Deshaun Watson, it's got to end. It's got to end at some point. And it's got to end. It's got to end soon, because training camp's going up. We got to prepare for, week 1 against Carolina Panthers and Baker Mayfield. And something, that kid is going to be fired up and pissed off week 1. But you got to figure out what's going on. I don't know how they're going to do it at training camp. I got a couple guests lined up here to talk some Browns with us here later on. But, what do? Do you split reps with Deshaun and Jacoby so that they both have team 1 reps? Do you just give it all to Jacoby, just saying that that Deshaun's going to be suspended? Do you give it all to Deshaun so he doesn't lose his edge? But also, like Justin said, it's been over a year since he's actually had live action, not training camp, not practice, live bullets coming at him. And you don't know how he's going to do. I mean, is the rust going to be there? Is the rust going to be knocked off? We don't know. It's just hard to predict this Browns team this year. And the talent-wise, they should make it in the playoffs. I know the AFC is loaded. I understand that. I mean, you got a lot of great teams, a lot of great quarterbacks in this AFC. But you have a 2-headed monster at running back. You have one of the best offensive, well, at least one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. You have a 99 overall Madden ranking for Myles Garrett. And the back end of this secondary is playmakers. But he is here, folks. And it's right on time. Let me bring in my big Bri.
Hey, man.
What's going on, big fella?
Living the dream.
Yeah, how was work?
Long.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, by the way, you don't know this yet. We are streaming live on Twitch now.
Oh, look at us.
Not only you can catch us on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, you can catch us on our Twitch channel at Illegal Ham to the Face. Please
wow.
Yeah, I know. And I went down through the rundown, and I gave shout outs to Ken Carmen and everybody that was. And how awesome was Ken Carmen last week, Bri? I mean,
it was a blast. We could have talked to him for 3-4 hours, and it still wouldn't have been enough.
He was so amazing, and I can't thank him enough for coming on. He actually did message us back, said that he'd love to come back on after the Brown season's over with, or during the bye, if we can get him. But he said he loved it, had a blast, and he's trying to get a hold of our movies. He can find my movie, but it's hard to watch my movie. because it's one of those rare ones that it's like a cult classic that's hard to find.
Well, you can't find it anywhere. You can't find it like on a movie store or nowhere.
You can find it on the movie store, but I mean, it's a lot of money to get. It's not like it's. And Brian looks better last week with the lights.
Hey, come on now. Who was that?
Justin, he's taking shots already.
I'm not wearing a hat, so maybe that's what he's getting at. I didn't do
Well,
my hair up for you.
Well, you don't need to do your hair. Your hair's perfect. All right, so let's get into your shout outs. All right, real quick. How was the golf outing, bud?
It was fine. It was great. We can maybe elaborate more on it next week. The golf outing, huge success. I think maybe we raised more money than we have any other year. So
That is amazing.
Plus.
All right, now let everybody know where to donate their money if they want to donate.
If you want to donate to the Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation, you can go to the mmrf.com or just Google it. Or, like I said last week, if there's something that you've been putting off, that there's a charity that's close to you, go donate. Every little bit counts.
Justin said the bald way is the way to go.
I've been bald. I've shaved my head a couple times in my lifetime.
It's been about
15 years, maybe.
Yeah, well, it's been a while. All right, so Brian, do you want to do trivia a little bit later?
I have one if you want. It's up to you. It doesn't matter.
Well, let's do a little bit later because I was doing Brown's talk before you came in, and we were talking about the decision on Deshaun Watson hasn't come yet. And we've had like USA Today came out and said the Browns, they project the Browns at 6-11. You've had multiple reports. I mean, we signed Josh Rosen. You've had everybody try to guess what the suspension is going to be. You got training camp starting tomorrow. I think everybody's supposed to report today, and they start training camp tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, how are your feelings about? Let's first go with the 6-11 from USA Today. I mean, how do you feel when you hear that number?
I would love to get those odds. I mean, tell me where I can sign up for that. There's no chance of that. The Browns are way too good a team. They went. What were they last year? 8-9 or 9-8 with 9-8 with Baker Mayfield as their quarterback, and it hurt Baker Mayfield at that. So I'll take my chances. I mean, as long as our core guys can stay healthy, it's not that difficult of a schedule.
No. Well, the first few games aren't that difficult when you start getting the meat and potatoes.
Yeah. The second month, October, will be tough, but yeah, I mean, every team has a somewhat tough schedule, so not like it's a gauntlet every single week where we got to be ready and play our best. Yeah, I think we should hopefully get 6 wins by Thanksgiving.
I would hope so. The other thing that was brought up, and Justin brought it up earlier, he said he tried to grow out his hair once and it came in looking like a chia pet.
It could look worse than that.
It could. It very well could.
I've seen worse.
This whole notion of Deshaun starting. Now, Brian, are you concerned because he hasn't? I told these guys, we still don't know because he hasn't taken live bullets and it feels like 2 years. Like he has not seriously taken a live snap in an NFL game in over a year, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, are you worried at all about that? Because guess what? It's not practice. Like practice, everybody's like, oh, he looks great. I mean, are you concerned that a couple years off or a year off kind of, slowed him down a little bit or he knocked the rust off trying to figure stuff out? I mean, because he didn't even practice with the Houston Texans from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what are we truly expecting from Deshaun Watson? Like, yeah, he's here, he's working, but I mean, is he going to be the past Deshaun Watson that we saw before with the 4,000 plus yards passing? Or is he going to be kind of a mediocre, just kind of in the middle trying to find his way for a little bit until he gets his feet back underneath him?
I expect him to be the Deshaun Watson of old. I think the Browns do, based on what they gave up, based on the money they gave him. I don't see why he couldn't. It doesn't concern me a whole lot that he hasn't played in like a year and a half. Guys miss entire seasons every single year, especially not especially, but there are always a couple quarterbacks that will tear an ACL or something and be out for the year. So this is basically, I view this kind of the same way. He's just instead of not playing because he was on IR, he's just not playing because his off the field stuff. So it's almost better because he's not rehabbing, he's not coming back from an injury. They always say that it takes at least the next season before you start getting comfortable, especially quarterbacks stepping up in the pocket with guys all around you. So yeah, I expect him to be the Deshaun Watson of the 2020 Houston Texans. And by the way, if you go back and look at the numbers, I didn't even realize he led the league in completion percentage. I mean, that blew my mind. I know he had like 4,800 yards, but yeah, look at the receivers he was throwing to. So I mean, sky's the limit for him. I think people are very underestimating him because subconsciously, we think he's just a bad guy, and he hasn't played in X amount of days. And I mean, I know I'm not saying start him in your fantasy league the very first time he takes the field. It's going to take him some games to get acclimated to the speed again, game speed. But yeah, I expect him to be the Deshaun Watson of old. So
No,
whether
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, you brought up, he led the league in yards and all this other stuff. He played great, but that was on like a 4-12 Houston Texan team, right?
Right, which we have a much better team around him than Houston Texans.
Could that be a lot of garbage at the end? Because that's what everybody says about Matt Ryan.
Sure, absolutely, it could be. Yeah. I'm not saying that he's a surefire 5,000-yard passer or anything, or you can chalk him up for leading the league in passing. But I mean, he deserves to be in the conversation for the top 5. I feel pretty comfortable putting him in the top 10 quarterbacks right now, but people are just kind of sleeping on him because 100% of the attention is going to the off the field stuff. So, hopefully he's got that fire burning in his belly and he wants to prove everybody wrong. And, he takes it out on opposing defenses. Time will tell about that. But yeah, I expect him in this offense with this running game, with this offensive line. Amari Cooper's better than anybody he had in 2020. Maybe not as good as Nuke Hopkins, but, yeah, I mean, I hope that, and I think the Browns are hoping that Njoku takes that next step. That's why they gave him such a huge contract. And, guys like Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think, can really pop in this offense if they're taking those first 2 options away.
And let's hope that happens. I mean, they had another thing that were you out driving around today? Did you listen to the fan at all today?
This morning I caught a couple segments.
Okay, well, they were talking about Anthony Schwartz and the broken shoulder that actually happened and the pick and everything else about his role in it. And he was just shocked that the ball was coming to him, but he goes, yeah, I kind of slowed down, but the ball wasn't supposed to go to me. And then next thing I know, it's right there. I'm like, well, that's kind of on you because you're supposed to be running the route, right? Like I don't anyways, but just hearing that talk with are you concerned about Stefanski, getting control of his players? Because I mean, he had a headbutting session last year with Baker Mayfield that we found out about. You had wide receivers calling out their quarterbacks. You've had injuries everywhere. You have people quitting on certain plays. Are you concerned about Stefanski this year and how he can handle this team going forward, especially with a suspension looming?
I am not. No. And, a lot of people will probably call me Baker hater, but I think Baker Mayfield had a lot to do with the Browns' issues. He wasn't 100% of the problem, but, if wide receivers aren't happy because they're not getting the ball, they look to the quarterback. If the play callers aren't happy because the plays aren't being executed as well as they wanted to, they look to the quarterback. And Baker doesn't seem like a guy who's just going to take that sitting down. So I'm sure there was some headbutting going on in that locker room, and we've kind of heard some rumblings of it lately. Now, I'm not saying Deshaun Watson is going to be perfect angel, and he's not going to butt heads with anybody. I mean, time will tell with that, but I think it was just time for a change, and I'm excited to see what the next step is and see how this group can mesh and mold together and create that chemistry.
Speaking of next steps, there was a next step that just happened for the Cleveland Browns. We signed another quarterback.
Hmm.
We signed another 2018 quarterback, Josh Rosen, to the roster. I don't know what they signed him for. I don't know the whole deal, but they brought in AJ McCarron too. And I started laughing when I heard, yes, they brought in McCarron and Rosen. I'm like, did somebody not fax him that he's not supposed to come? Sashi Brown. Anyways,
Greatest move.
I know the greatest thing that ever happened to the Cleveland Browns. I'm being dead serious, bro. A second round pick for AJ McCarron.
Second and a third, I think.
Was it second and third?
Yeah, can you believe that?
God, Hugh Jackson's off his rocker. No wonder Ken didn't want to talk about him last week. So, Brian, how do you feel about Josh Rosen joining the Cleveland Browns? And hold on, not only joining the Cleveland Browns, also wearing number 19.
Yeah, it seems like somebody should have stepped in and prevented that from happening. Maybe they were asleep at the wheel with a bunch of other stuff going on there. But as far as Rosen goes, I don't get too worked up about it. I see him as a young kid who still has a lot of potential, and people thought he was going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, 4 years ago? So this just kind of speaks to me. What's that?
Like it was supposed to be Baker, Darnold, and Rosen. They were all supposed to be right there in that group. And then, look at Lamar. I mean, it's crazy, right?
Yeah. For me, it just it speaks to the fact that they weren't happy with Josh Dobbs, and they weren't comfortable with Dobbs being the backup and being one play away from maybe having to play for a couple games for them. So they're trying other options out. I think if they're not happy with Rosen and the progress he's making, don't be surprised if, let's say, knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't happen, but Jacoby Brissett goes down in a game or in practice or something. Don't be surprised if they bring in a guy off the streets and he's starting a game for the Browns a couple days later because they're not happy with either Dobbs or Rosen. So, I mean, it's a headline grabber at this time because it's kind of a big name. It's a name we all know. It's a guy who's flamed out in a couple different spots, but I don't think like we're married to Josh Rosen or anything like that. I think
I don't think he flamed out, Bri. I don't think it was a flame out. I think it's just where he went to Arizona, changing coaches. 1 year Arizona, changing coaches. Kyler Murray was coming next. Like, I don't think he got a great deal out of everything that's happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's been in the right spots, is what I'm saying. Like, I don't kind of like Mitch. Mitch leads the Bears to the playoffs, and everybody thinks he's a horrible quarterback, but also look at his coach at that point in time. Kind of think that Mitch had a raw deal. He went to learn under Josh Allen last year, see how an actual, team is run. And now he's with the Steelers. Like, I think some of these guys, people are still giving a chance because the talent's there, just to make sure that it wasn't the organization. You know what I mean? Like, looking at Tannehill did okay at Miami, but it wasn't great where they drafted him. Then he goes to Tennessee, he lights it up.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody's trying to find that lightning in the bottle, especially as a backup. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Absolutely. 100% agree with you. I mean, it's low risk, high reward. If he's not what you hope him to be, and he's just a terrible player, then you cut him, and you don't lose a whole lot. So why not take a chance on a guy like that, who, like you said, has tremendous talent, and it wasn't long ago that people were very high on him as a starter in this league. So bring him in, but I don't want to say he's just a camp arm because he does have the opportunity here to prove himself and at the very least beat out Josh Dobbs as your backup. But don't be surprised if he has to be put into that starting role and the Browns say we're not comfortable with that, we're going to go a different direction. I mean, even bringing in somebody like Nick Mullins, who started a game for you last year and in a very tough situation. I don't know if he's caught on with another team, but he has starting experience.
Isn't he
And
playing? Yeah, isn't he playing in the Oh Jesus, USFL?
that beats me. I know nothing
I
about him,
think
so
he was.
I'm a little surprised the Browns didn't bring him back. I would have been comfortable with him as your third string guy again because he didn't crap the bed last year. He gave you a chance to win in a difficult environment, and just being thrusted into that, what was it, Tuesday night primetime game,
Yeah,
and he played pretty well. So depending on where he's at, if he wants to be with the Browns, I wouldn't be surprised if they found a way to get him back here.
yeah. I mean, he did great when he filled in too. It wasn't like it was perfect, but
I was a fan. I thought he was pretty good.
Bry, let's put it this way: we're Browns fans. We're always fan of the backup quarterback. I mean,
Most popular guy in town.
he definitely is. I tell you what, that guy will not buy a drink in the town throughout the entire time. Just wait, buddy. Your turn's next. Here you go. All right. So we also got to talk about training camp starting. Everybody showed up. We're getting ready to go. The reason why I brought up training camp, right? I mean, we still are undecided about Deshaun Watson. How do you think they will go through with the quarterback and how that's kind of deemed out? Because you got to get Jacoby Brissett ready. You just have to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is he taking all the number one snaps? I mean, are they going to go 50-50 on it? I mean, you got to get ready for the season and, knowing speculating that it's going to be a certain amount of games, speculating he is going to get suspended. Do you just start out right at the gate with Jacoby, giving him all the number one reps, getting him used to it? Because you can't mess up these first 4 games of the season. You can't mess up the first quarter. Because if you mess up that first quarter of the season, you're screwed. No matter if he comes back in week 8 or not, or whatever it is. You can't mess up the first 4 games of the season because it's time has shown you go 0-2, 1-3. It's hard to come back from that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the split looks like to start out, but by the end of the camp, Jacoby Brissett has to be taking 100% of your snaps. So whether he's taking 60 or 70% now, Deshaun's taking a couple, I don't think that really matters a whole lot. And honestly, I mean, I'm with you that I think it's ridiculous that they haven't come out with the length of the suspension yet, because it just doesn't make sense. How long do you need to really, look over the facts? And I understand that the judge hasn't been on the case for a whole year, but these allegations have been around for that long. So, how much new information could be coming about to where you have to change your mind. But excuse me, the Browns, I mean, their mindset doesn't really change. You have to at least expect he's going to be suspended for 4 games for the first month. So does it really matter right now in August, in July, if he's suspended for 4 games or for 8 games? Does that really change your preparation at this point at all? I don't think it really does. I think that you're starting the season with Jacoby Brissett. And, once you find out about Watson, then maybe you start mapping out a plan for when to start getting him ready to come back. But, yeah, it's a lot, much ado about nothing. To me, it blows my mind that they haven't come up with a decision yet, because I don't know what they're waiting on. I mean, maybe the NFL likes this. I mean, they say no publicity or bad publicity. What's the saying that I'm trying to get?
What is it? Bad news is always news. Is that what you're trying to say? Like,
there ain't no such thing as bad publicity or something. Like, as long as they're talking about you, it's not a bad thing. So maybe this is the NFL's way to stay relevant, because there's not a whole lot more going on in the league, other than this. I mean, they led Sports Center and First Take and all these other shows with Deshaun Watson, and I saw a video of him walking across the street yesterday.
And his ear,
They're just gobbling up. They're just talking about him, nonstop, and they're really not talking about anything at all. It just fills the airwaves. So maybe the media, maybe the NFL kind of likes it that this is still going on, but I don't know. As a Browns fan, I'm just ready for it to be done. I'm just ready to puke every time I hear about it.
now, so next week we will get into training camp and position battles and things that we like to we're going to pretty much go through position to position, if that's okay with you, Bri.
Sure.
And kind of grade where we're at and kind of look at everything. So mark that down for next week. We'll do our training camp preview.
Cool.
All right. But for right now, we gotta have some fun. I'm done talking about the downer and everything else.
Please.
All right, let's get into Madden Rankings. Madden Rankings are out. All right,
Love
Brian. And we have a 99 club in our midst. Miles Garrett got the perfect 99 right out of the gate. And guess who didn't get it? What? Take that.
I've been telling you. I mean, he is one move. He's a speed rusher, and that's it.
Well, the thing that I didn't like, what you have on here, thoughts where the Browns players are. There's a lot of Browns players. There's one that I think is too high. And there's a lot that I think are too low. So let's go through
with you. Let's see. Who do I think is too? Okay, I got one guy who's too high. Yep.
Okay. Why don't you give me your too high guy?
My too high guy is Amari Cooper. I think he's a 90. And like Jamar Chase is an 87, which I take Jamar Chase over Amari Cooper at this point all day. But he's just going to have to prove it to me. I've never been a huge Amari Cooper fan. Maybe because I've been burned by him a couple times in fantasy. Yeah. But it seems like he'll have a great game and then he'll disappear for a couple weeks. And I'm looking more for that consistency. I wouldn't consider him a top 10 receiver in the league, but maybe put him on a team where he's a true number one with a great quarterback. Maybe he can become that.
All right. You want to know my too high?
Who's that?
Kareem Hunt.
Get out of here. I almost had him too low.
No. Kareem Hunt at 86, I think is too high. He was injured. He's been injured ever since he's been with the Browns. We haven't had a full Kareem Hunt to actually get, hey, hot take here, Bri. There's a lot of hens in the hen house right now. One of these guys might get traded, and I have a feeling it might be Kareem Hunt. We have too many backs in the running backs room, bud. And I think they like Dearness on his option. And I think they could fish out Kareem for a bigger draft pick if they want to. That's just
I think it's going to be Dearness that is the odd man out. I think they find a way to move on from him.
They might
have a fourth beer bet or something.
I'll always have a beer bet with you, buddy.
Okay, so you think they get rid of Kareem? I think they get rid of Dearness.
Yeah, Chubb is at 96, which is great. Denzel Ward at 90. Cooper at 90, Batonio at 90, Wyatt Teller at 89. I'll tell you what, Dorsey finding that guy, riding the pine for the Bills and bringing him in here. Jeez, what a great find that was. Deshaun Watson at 84, Bri.
Right.
All right.
We're doubting him.
Here's one of my too lows. Clowney, 82.
Yep, agreed. With
John Johnson, 82.
See, he was my too highs.
Okay.
I like him, but I struggle to think of too many big plays that he made last year. Like if you're telling me you got Clowney and John Johnson at the same rating, I beg to differ. I think John Johnson needs to prove it to me after signing that big deal last year and not really being a huge, tremendous playmaker for us.
Here's another one that's too low, and I think it's just a little bit too low. JOK at 78. I think that's a little too low. Oh, wow, they still have Baker on here. He's at 77.
Yeah.
That's too low for Baker. Grant Delpit at 76. I think that's too low. Cade York at 73. Chase, your boy's at a 73, buddy.
Yeah. I mean, there's room for improvement there. I think that's probably in the ballpark at least. Maybe you can make a argument he could be at 75 or 76, but I don't have a huge problem with that.
I'm trying to find our boy here real quick. Hold on.
You keep scrolling there. Who you
Martin
looking for?
Emerson at 69.
Yeah.
David Bell at 68.
Keep scrolling.
Oh, how Jordan Elliott at 68?
Keep scrolling.
Hubbard Phillips, Jerome Ford, Nick Harris, 67.
Yeah, the Browns better hope that he's
Wow.
better than 67. My goodness, you got third round and fourth round rookies that you think are better than him. So let's hope they're wrong about. And I think they have another center that's above him too. Maybe the guy they got from Seattle. I forget his name, but who knows? Maybe Nick Harris isn't the favorite to get the center position.
Unreal. Johnny Stanton at a 62. He's a fullback, though, or tight end. James Hudson at a 61. Jeez.
He had a rough go.
That's it. They got Charlie Hewitt as a tight end at 54. That's it, Red Leg. Can't do it. That man has to go higher than a 54.
Is that his guy?
That's a long snapper.
Is that Red Legs guy?
Yes. 54.
Yeah, you just said it right there. He's a long snapper. He's not a tight
It
end.
doesn't matter. He's the best long snapper in the league. I can't do this.
I don't think they have ratings for how well he can snap the ball 15 yards.
So I gave the team ratings. All right. Oh, sorry about the hiccups right now. I got the team ratings, and the Browns are not in the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How do you feel about that, Bri?
I think it directly points to the uncertainty of the quarterback position. If you tell me they have an 84 at a quarterback, which I think Baker was like an 82 or 84 last year.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't think they're a top 10 team, but if Watson can be a 90 or a 92, then I think quickly they move up the ranks to top 7, top 16. But my biggest concern with the ratings was Jack Conklin. People are sleeping. Even last year, his rating wasn't that good. He was one of our best offensive linemen when he was healthy. And I know it's hard to remember that far back, but they have Wills ahead of Conklin, and I couldn't disagree more. I think Conklin's more on the level of Teller and Batonio when he's healthy. So I'm excited to get him back. And I saw today they put him on the PUP list, which isn't great, but yeah, if he can get back and he can get right, I'm excited for that right side.
All right, so here are the team rankings, Bri, because we're having fun with this now.
Sure.
Overall rating: Bucks at 92, Bills at 89, Rams and Packers at 88, Ravens, Chargers at 87. All right, Cowboys, Chiefs at 86, Niners at 86, Eagles at 85, Bengals at 85, Cardinals at 84, Browns at 84. Now, here's where I have the huge problem with the Browns at 84. They have their offense ranked at an 87. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Bri, they have their defense ranked at an 80. That defense for the last half of the season carried, and I can say it because it's my show, carried that goddamn team all the way to where they were at because Baker couldn't do it. That defense kept them in every game. What I looked at was a top 5 defense in the last half of that season. Now, we had questions after the Chargers game because we didn't know what the hell that was. But they hunkered down. Joe Woods saved his job because I thought his job was on the line after the first few games. And then that defense gelled. Wow. I even put it out there. I think this could be a top 5 defense in the NFL. And I think this has the potential to be the top defense in the NFL this year. The only reason why I say that, potential, is we got to figure out what our defensive tackles. If we have one of these defensive tackles show up and show out, I think that this will be a top defense in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, they're just defense tackle position. They're just throwing a bunch of bodies and hoping that a couple stick. And certainly in the AFC North, you need to be strong up the middle. Their linebackers are kind of up and coming. They don't get a ton of respect, which they kind of have to earn it. But as far as how do you get to good quarterbacks? You put pressure on them, and you have good corners that can cover for 3, 4, 5 seconds. And I think the Browns have that. So I'm excited to see them another year more mature in Joe Wood's system. I think they're better than they are last year, and yeah, there's still a couple guys that can step up. Delpit, we mentioned Johnson, guys like that. Ronnie Harrison, even. Hopefully one more year in this system, they get more comfortable. And I agree, they could be a top 5 defense, and I think that's maybe where the Browns can grow the most is on defense, because people know how talented their offense is, and maybe they're sleeping on the quarterback a little bit, but in all reality, if you think about it, what we saw last year with Baker Mayfield and him being hurt on top of that, thinking that the offense can be that much more dominant than what they showed last year, I think is very exciting. And it's something that I've just started getting excited about over the last week or so, because it's starting to feel like the beginning of football season, and where we can just start talking about football a little more and getting excited about how great this team could be. I think people are sleeping on them in a major way, to be honest. Some people pick them to be 4th in the AFC North, which I don't know. I find it hard to believe. I know they're very talented teams in our division, but yeah, I'm not scared of the Ravens. I'm not scared of the Bengals. Certainly not scared of the Steelers. If we can get a healthy team together, I think we're the better team.
And we'll get into that next week when we break down the training camp and everything. We'll do our top 3. Well, we'll do our top concerns of this team, top concerns of offense. You got your notes out?
Yeah, gotcha.
Top concerns of offense, top concerns of defense. All right. And then we will go through and kind of pick apart this team, position by position, Bri, because I think we really need to kind of look in depth of what we got going on, especially this year. And something? Just, God, can we just get a decision already? Figure out what the hell is going on so we can just prepare ourselves. That's all I ask. I don't ask for much, Bri. Just bring it to me. If it's a year, I just need to know. I don't care anymore. I just want to know. It's like seeing the Christmas present underneath your tree, but you're not allowed to play with it yet. Can't even peek in. It's just sitting there. Just sitting there, Bri. And you're not allowed to touch it. Well, Dad, it's past Christmas. It's April. Can't touch it, son. Can't touch it. You got to wait. Like,
I mean, for me, I just want to find out a decision so we can stop talking about it, so we can stop hearing about it, because it's just, it's been 2-3 months. It seems like it's been almost an eternity. Like every day, somebody's coming out with a new report, or somebody says, "Well, it's going to be today." Keep an eye on Twitter. Keep refreshing Twitter. It's going to be today, and I'm like, we've said this for weeks now.
I know.
Let's move on, please.
Well, hey, do you want to do our trivia right now, bud?
I got trivia for you.
All right, perfect. It really sucks not having Vinny here right now. Like,
I need somebody to keep an eye on you. Make sure you're not looking at your phone trying to look up the answer.
I'm not even going to look. I can't look up the answer. I got too much shit I got to click on this side.
You got no phone?
I got a phone, but I'm trying to write for the next show. So I'm trying to, that's why I have your notes and I have my notes right now. So, all right. So trivia is brought to you by Papa V and Curb Appeal. Get a hold of Papa V at curbappeal419.com for all your landscaping needs in Northwest Ohio. All right, Brian.
Okay. So last year, during the Rams Super Bowl run,
Mm-hmm.
Matt Stafford had 1,188 passing yards through that run, and that ranked second overall.
Oh.
Who number one for most passing yards in a single season playoff run? After your first guess, I'll give you the year.
I feel like you're trying to trick me.
Okay.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Nope, he is not Ben. Oh, come on, I wouldn't have a trivia praising a Steelers quarterback.
Oh no, you moved the picture away and put a plan up behind you. What is that?
My cousin stayed over last Thursday night, so she was up for the golf outing on Thursday, so I had to move that out. Although she is a Bengals fan, so
What
I
does
think
it
she
matter
probably
then?
she might have appreciated that one.
Did you not tell her it's Big Bry's Studios up here? Like, yes, so you'd be sleeping here, but this is Big Bry's Studios.
I had to tidy up.
All right. So it's not Big Ben.
The year was 2011.
2011 really doesn't help me at all, but all right. Is it a big name or is it a no name?
Oh yeah. Oh, you know him. Yeah, you know him.
Is it Tampa Brady?
Nope.
Aaron Rodgers,
Nope. But he is in the NFC.
Drew Brees.
Nope.
Jesus, how many NFC 2011?
They won the Super Bowl that year.
Colin Kaepernick? No.
The younger brother.
Younger brother. Now you're really all right. Give it to me. I'm drawing a blank.
The other Manning.
Oh my God, Eli Manning.
Eli Manning. Yep.
Shut your face.
Top 1,219 yards.
Oh, good God. You know, Justin got it right out of the gate.
Did
then
he?
We had Cam Newton. Then we had a Russell Wilson.
Okay. Both very good guesses. The Russell Wilson, definitely. Yeah, I would have thought he'd been up there too.
And Craig's kicking himself now. He goes, I was going to say that. It happens. All right, guys. Guess what? Time for Fat Boy.
And now it's time for Fat Boy Tuesday.
And this up to me. All right. Because I'm still trying to figure it out. All right. Foods that are better home cooked than at a restaurant.
Yep.
Elaborate.
So I was at a restaurant a couple weeks ago, and I saw something on their menu that was an appetizer, and you really don't see it on menus very often. And I think it's because it's better homemade than a restaurant can do. And that was deviled eggs. I forget what restaurant it was, but yeah, it had deviled eggs as an appetizer, which you don't see very often.
We had them at Foundry Social.
I didn't have them.
Oh, I had them.
Yeah, maybe it was the Foundry. Yeah, maybe it was the Foundry.
Yeah, the Foundry Social had them because I ordered them just because I wanted to try them, and I thought you tried one with me.
No, how were they?
Oh, they're amazing.
Yeah, but see, I think so my mother-in-law makes the best deviled eggs that I know. My cousin makes really good ones too, but yeah, so that got me thinking, like, because sometimes it's just like, well, we could go out to eat. I know my wife prefers like a steak over the grill here at our house than to go out to a restaurant and pay $20-$30 for a decent one. So that got me thinking. Deviled eggs was the first one that came to mind. Coleslaw, my aunt makes probably the best coleslaw that I've ever had. Better than any restaurant I've ever been to. So I was just trying to pick your brain at some things that you, your wife, your mom, somebody cooks that would be better than anything you ever ordered in the restaurant.
Brian, before we go further with this, I have to do it because Justin called me out on it. I had a fatty fail.
Uh-oh.
I hit it twice. It's my fault, but Justin called me on it. I have to go with James on this one. Homemade chicken and noodles. You cannot go wrong with homemade chicken and noodles. If you do it right,
Okay.
oh my God, homemade chicken and noodles is the best. Now, Craig, lasagna is up there too. I agree with you on lasagna. But there are some places here in Cleveland that have got some banging lasagna. And you got to go down to Little Italy to get those. Even Mama Catina's. Mama Catina's got
Sure.
some great lasagna.
Sure.
Let's see here. Salsa. Yes, there's, unless you go, like, if you're going for salsa, you're going to an authentic Mexican restaurant where they actually do the salsa fresh right there. Because
Sure.
if you go somewhere else, they're just giving you chips and like jar salsa, and you're like, what is this? No, 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 no. Another one that I brought up, Bry, and it just because it's near and dear to my heart. You brought it up with coleslaw. I don't think anybody makes it, but there's a broccoli salad. It's like with the coleslaw dressing, it's got raisins and walnuts and bacon in it.
Mhm.
I haven't found any, like, when I'm thinking coleslaw, like some places have really good coleslaw. I'm not saying they don't, but when I'm thinking coleslaw, I'm thinking my grandmother's coleslaw.
Sure.
Like, it's sweet. It's just, yeah, I'm with you on the coleslaw. Um,
I'm also thinking like a lot of mine are sides. Mac and cheese. I don't know if I've ever really had a great mac and cheese at any restaurant that kind of tops homemade mac and cheese in the crock pot or something like that. Or maybe, even something like I know mashed potatoes. A lot of places have some great mashed potatoes, but I think my aunt's mashed potatoes that she makes for Thanksgiving, I don't think I've ever had those topped by any restaurant.
there's another one, meatloaf. Meatloaf's so better at home than it is at, yeah, because some places, oh God, yeah, Craig, you got me there. Gotta go with meatloaf. I don't
Hmm.
know what it is about it. Um, Even sometimes, and I hate to say it, sometimes spaghetti. You get a spaghetti and meatball. Sometimes it's better at home than it is out and about. Now, this is also because we went to like Olive Garden and just grabbed a quick one, and is what it is. But oh yeah, KFC definitely has good mac and cheese.
I don't know if I've ever had KFC's mac and cheese.
Bry, they're making mac and cheese bowls. I suggest you try.
Oh, really? They
I
are, or they have done it already?
No, they've done it already. Like, it's out right now. I suggest you go and get yourself a mac and cheese
All
from,
right, give me a
because
breakdown. What's on it?
they bring out their chicken tenders and bacon, and like you can add barbecue sauce on it, whatever. I'm not talking
Okay.
about, like, their mac and cheese reminds me of, like, how you go in the store and you get the Bob Evans mac and cheese that you can nuke in the microwave.
Yeah,
That's so damn good. Reminds me of that.
better than Stouffer's.
Well, he has Stouffer's on here. Stouffer's is really good too.
Right.
And Craig said those KFC famous bowls are amazing.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've had them, but I know they're very good. Yeah, you got to get the barbecue sauce over the gravy, though.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I'm fat. I kind of take both. Just mix it
I
up.
I agree. I'm glad you brought up spaghetti because I agree with that take because I want to say last September, we went to a really nice restaurant here in Medina called the Oaks, and I think I shouted them out. They're great. It's a great atmosphere, but I ordered spaghetti from them just because nothing else was sounding good for me that day, and it was like $26. My wife's spaghetti is better than that times five, and paid $26 for it. So yeah, spaghetti's something. I mean, plain spaghetti, meat sauce. I don't know if it gets any better than homemade.
Another thing, goulash. Better homemade than it's even sloppy joes. Let's just be honest. Sloppy
Sure.
joes made at home. Oh my God.
Absolutely.
All right. James said at first I thought the KFC bowl wouldn't fill me up. Boy, was I wrong. One bowl and I was good.
Nice. Maybe I'll have to do that this week.
I'm telling you, they're really good, Bry. Trying to think of what else that we could do.
Same hot dogs. I mean, I'd say, a
Oh,
hot dog on a grill because there's not many places that you can go where you can get like a charred hot dog that I know
Now, hold on. Like, you're talking charred hot dog. Like,
off the grill.
yep. Like you like your coffee.
Yep, without
Yep.
a doubt.
Yep.
For sure.
Same here. Now, hold on. Ketchup on that thing or just mustard?
Both. Ketchup first and then mustard. If there's mustard there, I'll put spicy mustard on it, but ketchup's a must.
Onions, relish,
Onions, if it's available.
cheese,
If it's available, yeah.
chili.
Same.
All right. Well, you put it all in there. All have you?
I mean, as long as it's not too much of a mess. I mean, I would, like I said, there's a good idea. I should have like a party one of these nights and just have a hot dog bar. I don't know if I've ever been to a house party with a hot dog bar.
Might as well have a hot dog bar. I mean, you got nacho cheese, jalapenos. You can put whatever you want on that.
It's always like a taco bar, but I don't know if ever, is that too white trash for me? Would people like look down on me for that?
Hell no. You can actually even call it the white trash party. Get some Bush lattes and some Keystone or whatever you guys drink, and just have a good old time.
What you mean, you guys? What you mean, you people?
Oh, yeah. I drink Keystone Bush latte.
I'm gonna have to start going out the mullet then, I guess.
Oh my God, could you? Oh, by the way, all right. So next week, all right, we will be doing our show live at 6:00. The following week, though, Bri, I will be in Nevada.
All right.
All right. So we will do a special show. Now, I will not have the equipment. I will have earbuds and my phone. All right. Oh, yeah. Don't forget the Natty Ice or Light. That is true.
For sure.
All right. But I will be in Vegas in 2 weeks. All right.
With you? Is it going to come on?
Who, Vinny?
Yeah.
Vinny cannot get time off of work to come with us.
Oh, he's not going to Vegas?
He is not going to Vegas. He's only got 1 day of vacation. That's it.
You got to be kidding me. Tell him to get a different job.
Well, he might come out for the weekend, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with that. But he will be with us next week here, I believe. I got to get a hold of him. I asked him if he was coming on tonight, and he said he's too busy at work tonight to come on with us. But yeah, we're going to do a Fatty in Vegas show. It might not be a long one, Bri. It might be a half hour. Well, you guys might do a long one. Fatty might only be on there for a half an hour, depending on where I'm at, what I'm doing.
It'll be like 4:00 out there.
Yeah, I know. I might be eating.
Yeah, well, there's only so many hours in the day, and there's a lot of buffets out there, so I don't blame you.
And Justin asked if I could dress up for Elvis. I cannot dress up as Elvis because I have another theme. I have a American flag Speedo with a American flag bandana and sunglasses.
So I was supposed to eat after this. I guess not.
Yeah, I bet not, because guess what? I'm going to be poolside floating up like a walrus. Just doing the backstroke, Bri.
The Browns.
The Browns.
Guardians? No, we don't talk about the Guardians.
I don't want to talk about the Guardians. Go ahead. All right, let's get into our last spot here, Bri. I gotta click everything. Another fatty fail. Just give me a damn second. All right, we're getting into our top 3 sports TV shows. And I was going to do it last week, but we had a lot of we weren't expecting King Carmen to stay on with us. Craig, do not toy with me if Soto joined the Cleveland Guardians. I have not got news yet. Don't toy with me. All right. All right. So are we doing like trivia shows, actual TV shows? What
tell me? I mean, I took it as, I guess it's however you want to interpret it, but I took it as Sports Center, First Take, whatever the shows, Colin Coward's radio show, Jim Rome show,
Okay.
anything that's on TV that talks sports, like not a not a Everybody Loves Raymond where he's a sports writer or something like that. Just
All right. Well,
do talking sports.
I'll go first.
Mm-hmm.
My number 3 is the Big Noon Kickoff. Fox has got a really good college football show right at the beginning, and I love hearing it, especially with your pretty boy Brady Quinn, Liner, Reggie Bush. It's actually really good. And no, we're not talking about those. Number 2, pardon the interruption. I love watching those two argue back and forth. I don't know what it is about it. Just hearing those. And, my number 1, Bri, Mike and Mike in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I loved watching Mike and Mike in the morning. And I'm so sad that show left. That was one of the greatest ever. And I wish they would bring it back. I know it's not going to happen, but I love Mike and Mike in the morning. It was, you're done with Sports Center after you watch it for the 45th time. You switch over to Mike and Mike. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Brian, what about your top 3?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, it was I think it was the first radio show to be put on television, and now it seems like they all are. And their radio show now in the morning is okay, but yeah, it's not quite Mike and Mike. So I'm probably with you there that was a great one. Well, I got 3 for you. My number 3 is, I'm a big fantasy guy, so NFL Network has a show. I think it's every day during the season, like 5:00, called NFL Fantasy Live. So I catch it a couple times a week. I try to, anyways. Get the waiver wire pickups and all that stuff. Just it's a little different than everything else that you're hearing on the TV throughout the week. So a different angle. That's my number 3. My number 2, you probably will not be surprised by this, but every Saturday morning, it's only one day a week, and it's only for a couple hours. I flip over to the SEC network and I watch Marty McGee. Like the hillbilly I am. Which is funny because I'm not even a big NASCAR fan at all, and I never really listened to them. I always turned them off, throw them to the side like they were NASCAR guys. So, but man, it's appointment viewing for me. It's like every Saturday. I'm up early if I'm working or just drinking a little bit of coffee, sitting in my recliner. I watch them and just they talk shop. It's not even about the sports most of the time, but yeah, I enjoy that. So you're probably not surprised with that one. And then number 1, it's like it was the original of these debate shows and everything. It's PTI, and you can't beat a classic like that. And they don't just yell at each other the entire time like some of these shows do now. But yeah, you can't beat that.
Yes, Brian loves the SEC, Justin. He's
It's,
but hey, for
could
Marty,
be. I mean, they're better than the Big Ten. I'm just honest about that.
for Marty McGee, though, I mean, Brian and I will look at each other one day at work and go, biscuits or cornbread.
Mm-hmm.
And then right there shuts it down. We start giggling at each other.
Oh, love it.
Also, you got to throw in Around the Horn, too. Around the Horns actually kind of gets funny, too.
Yeah. It's gotten very liberal over the years.
Yeah.
It's very liberal. It's hard to watch for me now.
Justin, I don't know why you do this at the end of our show every time. And I love, so I'm just going to bring it up, Brian. You can't forget Debbie Does Dallas. Isn't that a sports show?
If you want it to be, I've never seen it. Maybe it's about Cowboys. You tell me.
I cannot stand Skip and Shannon. Those two can just,
Skip Bayless. I mean, his act ran out about 15 years ago when he was saying how terrible LeBron is, and I think I saw something that he has LeBron ranked 9th as the best all-time greatest basketball player. 9th. Give me a break. I mean, how do people keep throwing money at him? He just comes up with ridiculous takes that go against the contrary. So,
because people click, Bri. That's why.
I mean, people get upset, people get angry. Angry is an emotion, so they have an emotional tie to him, and that's all it is. I mean, he can't believe the stuff that he says if he's halfway smart at all.
I know. All right, Brian, you want to close it down for this week? We got our show.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Like, I did keep your other topic in the archive for us.
Sure, I got it mapped out here, so I'll just keep it for next
Well,
week.
look at you. I mean, are you going to be doing our shows for the entire time coming up? Because that'd be awesome.
I don't know. I figured we could spice it up a little bit. So I mean, you tell me whenever you're struggling to come up with something, you let me know.
All right, because I mean, you hit the topics I wanted to talk about, so I was like, "Go ahead, buddy. Like, let's do it." The only one was the food topic, and I was stuck on the food topic. And that kind of worked out because
Good.
loaf anywhere else besides home is trash, and I'll say it again.
What? Anything else but home?
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf. Okay. Yeah, I probably agree with that.
There's also a Debbie Does New Orleans. How have I not seen that?
All right. God bless you. God bless America.
Good Lord, Justin, you're bringing me into a whole. God bless you. All right, Fry's gone. See ya. All right, I am that fat guy. We want to thank our troops and first responders for everything they do. Justin just kind of ended the show for us right there. Please tune into our new Twitch channel, like, subscribe, everything. We appreciate everybody that watches, likes, and everything. Also catch us here soon live. I think we'll be doing a live show after I get back from Vegas, so we'll get that all set up. And love you guys. Guess what? We're definitely uncorked, unloading. We're out. See you.